Welcome to OverKing's Overwatch Overview. This is going to be a how-to play Overwatch video, a general tutorial, low-level, educational, visual aid. So don't be so stiff, guys. Let's go have some fun. I know you are all still hyped about the game, so let's go and learn the actual details of what makes Overwatch, Overwatch. So first on the list of things that we need to talk about for a how-to play Overwatch, we gotta talk about the thing that makes Overwatch what it is. The game that it is today is because of its characters, which are called heroes here. So as you look at all the different characters, you are going to be quick to notice that they are separated into 4 different categories. That's going to be support, tank, defense, and offense. But do know that every single character is its own unique and original entity. They play their own individual role. I mean, there are individual roles such as contestant, flanker, bunker buster, and some more obvious ones like builders, snipers. And a lot of these characters can play a huge multitude, a variety of different kind of roles, especially depending on the situation, the game mode, the map, the location. All sorts of different factors go into how you play these individual characters. It's really a bit more complicated than just saying an offense character is for use when you are on the attacking team. So do keep that in mind. Though if you're starting out, it's pretty good to know that offense characters, defense characters, tanks, and supports, that's basically labeling how their kit is played out. An offense character tends to have a little bit more damage oriented, a little bit more aggression in its kit. A defense character might have a little bit more CC, it might be a little bit more passive, as in it waits for other people to come into their zone and they can, well, take care of that or help to zone them. Tanks, well, they're big and beefy and tanky, but how they go about being tanky. Maybe they have giant shields at AoE for their team. Maybe they give away shields. Maybe they themselves are just unstoppable killing machines, or maybe they have tons of healing. Maybe they go berserk. And then there's supports, how they go about healing. Is it aura healing? Is it individual healing? Maybe it's not healing at all. Maybe it's just shields. Teleporters. In the end, the category is just there for new players to kind of get them situated with the different kits and the different play styles. But then you gotta remember, every single character does play its own unique role in the game, which is why it's very, very important to learn to switch heroes when you really need to. And you're going to find pretty quickly that you need to change your character all the time, basically. Especially if you're really competitive, you're going to see that a lot of the compositions that you're going to be going up against just can't be dealt with your particular character. You are going to need to change characters to maybe bust the bunkers. You got to flank that bastion. Maybe a particular tracer is incredibly annoying in somewhat zoning your team or constantly flanking your team, so you gotta switch to McCree so you can stop her in her tracks. The world could always use more heroes! But honestly, each particular match, and depending on each particular scenario, you need to actually select which particular heroes you want to use for the situations. Though you are going to need a little bit of foresight, because whenever you switch characters, you lose all of your ultimate meter. So if you want to use a particular ultimate like Hanzo's to bust a bunker, you actually need to score points with him in order to utilize his ultimate. And with that being said, I think it's about time that we talk about exactly what these heroes are actually capable of. Now, this is something that I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about because, honestly, when we look at games like MOBAs that have a lot of different character kits, we find that often new characters can sometimes break the rules. Maybe a new character doesn't use mana anymore, or doesn't even have cooldowns or something like that. So, even though there are some sort of like attributes that we can see already, like every character has a primary weapon, and then some characters have secondary fires. Maybe there will be a character that has 3 weapons instead of just 2. Already, we see Torbjorn that actually does have 2 weapons instead of just 1 with an alternate fire. Some people don't even have alternate fires. Really, there's so many different kind of kits and potentials for this game. It's kind of hard to talk about what every single character has, but basically, you can assume that every single person has their own individual main weapon. Everybody has their own ultimate, but for the most part, you can expect 4 basic components, which are separated to main weapon, sometimes a secondary weapon or a shift key ability, a E ability, and a Q ability, though how that's distributed might change. Like I said, some people have secondary weapons. Somebody might actually replace a Q ability with a 3rd weapon. I think it's just really important to remember that even though this is a first-person shooter, many of these characters play wholly different mechanically. And since this game is going to have an ever-expanding roster of heroes, we as players really shouldn't have a limited bias viewpoint on the game, because Blizzard's pretty creative. And I'm pretty sure that as we go on through time, we're going to have some really weird characters that play way different than the original cast. But there are some core mechanics that are shared between every single character. It's possible that maybe later on something else will be added on, but currently we have a couple of things that are absolute for every single character. And one of those things is the health system. Every hero has HP, okay? When HP reaches 0, the hero dies. Yeah, okay. Anyways, this is healable, so if you have a medic class, that can actually be healed. Then you also have yellow, which is armor. which reduces and absorbs damage, can be innate depending on the hero, sometimes they have it innately, can be attainable through heroes' abilities, and then you also have shields, which is blue. Shields are not healable, but then can potentially regen depending on the kit, and overshield can be applied through hero abilities, though this shield decays quickly over time. Health points, armor, shields. You guys better memorize those colors because it's pretty important whenever you're fighting a tank to know if he's got a lot of health left or if he's got a lot of armor or even just like full health, full armor, and full shields. And absolutely, a fundamental part of Overwatch is going to be learning the maps and where the health packs spawn. You need it to heal. Yeah, small health packs heal for 75 health. Large health packs heal for 250. And also, it's important to know that every single character has their own different stats. Yeah, some characters have more health than others. Yeah, spawn points heal very quickly. Being near a payload also heals very slowly on the payload game mode. And there are various heroes' abilities that do provide healing, or armor, or shields. But currently you can't pick up armor, you can't pick up shields. The only pickups that exist on the maps of Overwatch at the moment are just varying sizes of health. But hey, for those of you who are inclined to tend to lose health over, klutzy sort of mistakes, you actually gain ultimate from taking damage. You can use this to your advantage if you're a tank. It's actually pretty important, and also to not deliver too much damage on somebody who is healing, so you don't just hand out ultimates like gifts and candies. But also, hey, there's no fall damage, and if you do die, it only lasts for 10 seconds. But it's not really the respawn time that's gonna get you. It's whenever you do respawn, and then you have to walk all the way to the objective on the other side of the map. Yeah, that's actually a pretty hefty amount of time just walking. It's not like walking simulator level, but it's kind of intense. So you should actually use your movement abilities on the way there. Know the most direct routes, or get a Symmetra teleporter. Seriously, prepare yourself. If you die, even though the respawn time isn't that long, you're not just gonna snap back into the fight like it's Call of Duty. Now, it's pretty important to note that I didn't mention anything about ammo so far, and that's because ammo doesn't exist in Overwatch. I mean, it does, in a sense, that you do have, cartridges, you do have, these ammunition sort of system where you do have to actually reload your weapon, but as far as actually picking up ammo or, running out of ammo ever, no, that's not gonna happen. The game is entirely based on cooldowns. The only ammo exists in magazines, which you reload, but you have an infinite amount of those. Yeah. But on a note about basic mechanics, we can't leave out the game modes, and in particular, we have payload and we also have capture points, and these work as attack defense. One team is on the aggressing side and one team is on the defending side, and then after that round, you switch sides, and then that concludes the match, whoever completes it the fastest. Yeah, it does work like other asymmetrical team-oriented games. Yeah, Team Fortress 2 most specifically. The two game modes that we have access to right now are Payload and Capture Points. And there appears to be some maps/game modes that are actually a hybrid of the two. And yes, the maps are directly intertwined with the game modes. But if you're interested to see what the future might hold for this game for Overwatch, just kind of look toward Team Fortress 2 and other similar titles. We will probably have evolutions of the Payload, of Capture Points, King of the Hill, stuff like that. But all in all, Overwatch is a team-based objective shooter. So very likely we won't have TDM, and I can say with these character kits, it just makes sense. 6 players per team, a large varying roster of incredible characters, and throw in an objective-based gameplay and you have a really incredible time on your hands. That not only requires solo mechanical skill, your own prowess as a player, but as well as your teamwork with your team, your tactics and your strategies coming into the single match, or even individual choke points per maps. And a final point about the mechanics of Overwatch is don't be afraid if you're not good at aiming. Yeah, sure, there are characters that highly reward aim skill, and of course it is still an FPS on the PC. It is still an arena shooter, but it is a little bit more than that. It's a team-based objective shooter. It is a character shooter, and there happen to be characters that can suit a strategic or tactical playstyle. If you're not good at aiming, even if you're completely casual, the atmosphere, the mechanics, the game in general really can be home to a wide variety of different kinds of players. So don't be afraid. The world could always use more heroes. So, friends, if you're really interested in Overwatch, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something, but hey, if you're interested in more advanced tactics and tips and tricks and all that good fun stuff, like and subscribe. We have a lot of advanced content coming out, and of course, basic content guides. Thanks for watching, Watchers. See you again next time.